and welcome to another episode of The Right Side of History. Today we're going to be talking about the Pilgrims. We're going to talk about why the Pilgrims came to America and what motivated them to come to America. The story about why the Pilgrims came to America is actually a little long and complex, but today we're going to break it down and make it easy to understand. You see, in the 1400s, most people that were living in England were Catholic. But in the 1500s, a group of people broke from the Catholic Church, and we call these people Protestants, and some people call them separatists. So when these people separated from the Catholic Church, the King of England liked it so much that he started his own form of Protestantism in England. So while the king thinks this is a really amazing idea, there's a group of people that are living in England led by a guy named William Bradford, and they don't like the king's version of Christianity. They want to have their own version of being Protestant. And we call these people separatists, but you probably know them as Pilgrims. Anyway, I know that was a little long-winded and complicated, so let's start at the beginning and go back to 1534 and see where it all began. I, King Henry, declare that England will no longer be a part of the Catholic Church. From now on, we will have our own church, here in our own country, and it will be called the Church of England. Hey Miles, how you doing? I gotta be honest, I really don't like the Church of England. Really not a fan of the Catholic Church either. What I really want is to separate from the Church of England. You know, teach me own views as it was. What do you think about that? Starting a religion, like the Church of England, but with like a little bit different views.
The king is gonna be pissed. You know he wants everyone to just follow the Church of England. He's gonna be pretty mad at you.
I know King James is gonna be mad, but truth be told, he doesn't really like me anyway. Maybe he'd just be happy if we, move somewhere else.
King might be up for that. You annoy someone enough, sometimes they just want you gone. I once had this math teacher, Mr. Frisbee. Anyway, I kept annoying him till he begged me to leave class. So maybe the king will leave you alone. Well, if it isn't William Bradford, you giant pain in the...
King, how are you today, sir? It's good to see you.
I mean, if you were on the moon, Mr. Bradford, I would literally be a whole lot better. I would love to kill you. I would literally love to cut your head off. I mean, I'm just kidding, but, no, I really am. I would love to. I just wish you would stop with all of this talk of separating. It's not healthy for England.
So, King, let me get this straight. You wish I was living somewhere else, do you?
Anywhere. If you want, there's this place 3,000 miles away.
Hostile Indians, disease, difficult weather. I'd love to send you there. Are you talking about the new colonies? America? You'd let me take my people there?
Absolutely.
But it's dangerous, you say. Indians, disease, harsh weather?
Did I say dangerous? I meant to say dignified. It's a great land, you'll love it. You can land anywhere you want.
Anywhere between Virginia and New York to set up shop. I'll give you a charter to land anywhere between Virginia and New York. Pack your bags and feel free to drown on the way. We've been at sea for over 2 months, Miles. We're running low on clean water. If we don't get to land soon, we're gonna die from dehydration. What do you think we should do, Miles?
Drink our pee. I saw this guy Bear Grylls do it once.
Drink our pee? What the heck is wrong with you, mate? And who's Bear Grylls?
He's British.
Forget it. Take a look at this map. If we turn back north, we can still land in Massachusetts.
But the king told us our charter's for Virginia to New York. If we land north in New York, there'll be no laws, no rules. The charter will not apply.
We've got no choice. We've got to go land in Massachusetts.
I say, drink our pee.
The journey from England to America took place on a ship called the Mayflower. After 66 days, the Pilgrims would make their way to America, but they had a host of problems along the way. The Mayflower and her crew were hit with fierce gales. They broke a support joist in their ship, but they were able to jack it up with housing equipment material that they had brought to build homes in the colonies. They also ran low on clean water. Because of the lack of clean water, the Pilgrims actually never made it to New York. They made it to modern-day Massachusetts. Their plan was to get supplies and make their way south, but that didn't work out. Remember, the king granted them a charter between Virginia and New York, so Massachusetts was outside of the area. That means if they stayed in Massachusetts, they would be in land not governed by English law. William Bradford turned the ship north towards Massachusetts, and they would land in a town called Plymouth. As a result, they were in a land with no laws. They were also fearful that if there were no laws, they would not be safe. The Mayflower also had people that were really religious and folks that were clearly not so religious. Without law, there was a real fear that there would be fighting in Plymouth. So before they got off the ship, everyone agreed to set up government and law under a document called the Mayflower Compact. 41 people signed it. It was the first example of self-government, something that New Englanders would take great pride in while living in the New World. It also created laws that everyone would have to follow or be punished. After the Pilgrims had their government settled, it was time to get out and explore. Plymouth was actually a pretty bad choice. It was sandy and it didn't have a great port. On top of that, they landed in November, so they could not plant crops. They had to hunt, which was hard, or steal food from the natives, which they did. The Pilgrims were fortunate, however, because they met a friendly Indian named Samoset. Samoset was from the Wampanoag tribe, and he told the chief that the Pilgrims were having a lot of trouble. So the Wampanoag chief, Massasoit, ordered a guy named Squanto, who you guys are probably familiar with, to go out and teach the Pilgrims how to farm. And Squanto also spoke English. So let's go upstairs and take a look at how Squanto wound up meeting William Bradford and Miles Standish. This must be Squanto. Here he comes. Do you speak English?
Yes.
Do you know any other words besides yes?
Yes. This guy doesn't speak any English.
No, I speak English. I speak English pretty well. When I was a boy, I was captured by some fishermen who were trying to sell me. While I was in their custody, I learned how to speak English. Anyway, Chief Massasoit has told me that you guys stole some of our food, and that I got to teach you to farm, and that you're going to be paying us back for that food. Oh, Squanto, appreciate it. Like we told Samoset, really sorry about stealing that food. If we didn't, we would have died. So it's actually pretty hard to farm here with all of the sand here on Plymouth. We were really hoping you could teach us. We'd really appreciate anything you could show us. Well, there's a lot you could hunt around here. Deer, wild turkey, duck. As you can see out there in the Cape, there's a lot of cod that you could fish. And you can usually get that cod year-round. As for growing crops, you can see it's pretty sandy here. So one of the things that we actually do is we take small fish and we bury the fish in the sand with our seeds, and it actually will help some of the crops grow. So hopefully you guys can do this, pay us back, and we just want to get along peacefully. I don't see anything that can go wrong. Welcome back. If it wasn't for the natives, it's highly unlikely that the Pilgrims would have made it past the first year. The natives would come to regret their willingness to help the Pilgrims, as new settlers from England would displace the Wampanoag, disease would become rampant, and fighting would decimate the native population. Besides the natives, it was the Pilgrims' religion that would motivate them to survive in the New World. Religion and the separatist disagreement with the King of England were what drove the Pilgrims to the New World. In fact, many people who moved to New England during the 1600s did so because they were motivated by the desire for religious freedom. The colony of Massachusetts was founded with the idea that the Pilgrims would be able to practice their religion freely. So remember, the idea of freedom of religion was really a fundamental principle during the founding of America. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of The Right Side of History. Thanks for watching.